G'day everyone, today I'm working on the greatest Honda, my 1993 4th generation Honda Prelude. What's the issue? The car's got no brakes. Physically they're there, but no matter how hard I mash on the brake pedal, the car does not stop. Stick around while I troubleshoot this issue. What the previous owner told me is it could possibly be the ABS system that needs bleeding, and I can see from this piece of paper I found in the car, the shop might have taken a look at the issue leading to that conclusion. While I was fixing the radiator issue on this car, I did notice the revs changed ever so slightly when I was pressing the brake pedal. Once the RPM settled down, I also noticed when not pressing the brake pedal, there was an audible whistling noise coming from around the brake pedal area. So this led me down the path of suspecting that the brake booster is bad. What's a brake booster? It's this thing here, and it does as the name suggests, it boosts or amplifies the force that is applied to the brake pedal. Without one, you'd have to hit on the brakes a lot harder, and despite that, there is actually benefit in not having a brake booster, particularly in racing applications. The brake booster is vacuum operated, and this introduces a bit of variability in the amount of braking assistance you get, which is not good while you're racing. You would want consistent feeling when mashing on that brake pedal. However, the goal here is just to have working brakes, so let's test out the brake booster. With the car off, I'm going to keep pushing the pedal, and what I'm looking for is the pedal gets harder to push eventually, which it is not. This follows on with the whistling noise, which could be an air leak coming from the brake booster. With my foot still on the pedal, I'm going to turn on the car and see if the pedal sinks slightly, which it is. This is expected as the brake booster uses engine vacuum to operate. If there was an issue with this test, I would also suspect the check valve. Next, we will do a leak test with the car running. I'm going to press down on the brake pedal and turn off the car while continuing to hold down the pedal. What I'm looking for here is if the pedal begins to rise, then there is a leak in the brake booster. Surprisingly, this test had no issues, so what we have to go off here is only the first test. The pedal did not get harder to push, and the fact that I can hear what sounds like an air leak that may be coming from the brake pedal area. What I suspect is happening is the brake booster has a leak, but only when the brake pedal is not being pressed down. So let's remove it. I'm going to remove the brake master cylinder first. It currently has a very not OEM hose line going around it. With that out of the way, there's just 2 bolts to remove and also the reservoir cap, which has 2 wires connected to it. Next, I'm disconnecting the brake lines from the brake master cylinder. Good idea to use a flare nut spanner, which has more grip than standard spanners, and reduce any chance of rounding off the brake line nuts. I've got a bunch of rags down because brake fluid will spill and it likes to eat paint. Now that we've got that out of the way, we can see rust, 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 and, well, more rust. Now, the number one reason brake boosters go bad is when the brake master cylinder leaks. It allows brake fluid to drip back onto the booster, and if it gets bad enough, it rusts the internals of the booster. So I'm going to check if that's happening on this unit. Surprisingly, it looks like it is a brand new unit that's been shoved back onto the rusting booster. Let me pull back the rubber seal. Yup, very new. I hope it wasn't the mechanic that did this and gave it back to the previous owner in this condition. Alright, now all that's holding the brake booster from the inside of the car are 4 impossible to get to bolts, without turning yourself into a pretzel to lie upside down in the car. I had to remove one bolt to swing the cruise control module to the side. I couldn't film removing the bolts between the back pane, lying upside down, and holding a camera to the mix wasn't happening, but it just took some good old-fashioned persistence. Did I say it was just 4 bolts and that was it? I lied. The brake pedal is also connected to the booster. To remove it, you need to remove a clevis pin, which has a cotter pin inserted into it. Straighten out the cotter pin, and then the clevis pin should slide right out. This is a better view of the cotter pin that needed to be straightened out in order to get pulled out of the clevis pin. And this is the clevis pin, which slides out of the brake pedal holder. And now finally we can easily take out the brake booster. Okay, maybe not that easily. I really want to know if anyone in the US, have you tried to remove a Honda Prelude brake booster? Let me know in the comments, is it actually easier with the booster on the other side of the car? Looks like I have to unclip this fuse and move it out of the way. The car had an aftermarket siren which is in the way. I've removed that, and also looks like the fuel injector resistor is in the way. Just 2 bolts to get that out of the way. I'll bend the bracket for the aftermarket siren out of the way, and also notice my clutch master cylinder just dangling there. That's how it was when I got the car, but usually that has 2 bolts holding it close to the brake master cylinder. I'd have to move it out of the way if it was attached there. At a first glance of the brake booster, there's already a noticeable amount of brake fluid that has come through to the side that faces the inside of the car. So likely brake fluid has ruined the booster from the inside out. Huge amount of rust on the outside, so possible the shell has holes in it too. Not going to lie, it was pretty hard to find a replacement. I almost ended up getting one from a 5th gen Prelude, which arguably is better, but I managed to get another one from someone parting out a 4th gen. All was looking good. This was the picture the seller sent me, and this is what I got. Yep, another rusty one. So here I am running the risk of getting the same issue. I'm going to sand off the rust and then spray on a 2-in-1 rust converter and paint primer. The other brake booster did not come with the part that connects to the brake pedal, so I'm going to take it off the old one. And you'd think exact same brake booster going back in, so it should be easy and trouble free, right? Wrong. Now to button everything back up. 4 bolts back in. To get everything to line back up for the clevis pin, I had to remove the brake switch and then measure the distance from the carpet to the middle of the pedal and install the brake switch to get it to spec. I did get a new check valve with the brake booster, but I want to use the old check valve so I can test that I was right. The only thing not working originally was the brake booster. So I'm going to swap it out, but keep the new hose and ditch the old one. Remember my aftermarket siren? Turns out the screws holding it to the brackets are a perfect fit for holding the clutch master cylinder to the chassis. So I'm going to take them since the siren is held in place fairly securely without them. And with that, I'm done and can test my brakes, right? Nope. Remember all that brake fluid that leaked out? Looks like I'll have to top up the brake fluid and bleed the system. It is crucial not to have air in the brake fluid lines because air is compressible, whereas brake fluid is not, and that is what is used to activate the brakes. If you're compressing air instead, well, that means you're not going to have any brakes anyway. After reading through tons of articles, I'm fairly confident this is the order to bleed the brakes for a JDM Honda Prelude. The rear right, front left, rear left, front right. Oh nice, looks like the previous owner did replace a lot of the suspension, hull braided lines and new bushings. Alright, to bleed the brakes, behind each caliper there is a bleeder valve that needs to be opened to allow the air out. I'm attaching this one-man brake bleeder kit. It has to sit higher than the brake bleeder valve. It comes with a handy magnet to hold it in place. The bleeder kit allows the bleeder valve to open without air getting sucked back into the system. Next, with the bleeder valve opened, press the brake pedal 7 to 10 times. Check the fluid is being drawn into the brake bleeder, and at the same time make sure that the master cylinder reservoir does not fall below the minimum line. If it does, I'll need to start again because that can let air back into the system. I'll stop when I've done a few rounds where no air bubbles are seen in the brake bleeder tube. Now, if you don't press the brake pedal 7 to 10 times and then check, this is a perfect example of what can happen. Alright, I don't have much space to work with since the tofu Sherpa is in the way, but let's check out if I can brake it all. Oh yeah, success. Before there was zero stopping power, now it looks like everything's back to normal. Thanks for watching Project Pray Lude. I've now got a Prelude that can drive without overheating and actually stop. There's still lots to do. Make sure you subscribe to follow along with the build. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.